The Energy Action Plan was announced by President Cyril Ramokgopa in July 2022 to provide the best and fastest path towards energy security. As the country continues to battle various stages of load shedding, the electricity minister outlines important steps that have been taken to follow through on the commitments announced by the president.
Generation side, so to ensure that we reduce the amount of the intensity of load shedding. And if you look at what has been the progression since May, because we use May as a baseline, we have been able to add about 1,800 or so megawatts. That's reduce load shedding by 2 stages of load shedding. And then we have achieved that because we have improved a lot on what we call the unplanned capability loss factor. That speaks to the number of units that are tripping at any given time, the units that are failing, and therefore they have to be taken out of operation.
As Eskom moves to unbundle the utility into 3 sectors, namely generation, transmission and distribution, the minister believes transmission is still a major challenge.
Ask the question, who are these people who want to connect onto this transmission line? So it's typically the new generation capacity, and this generation capacity is from the renewable energy sources, wind and solar PV. It's concentrated in the areas of the Western Cape and the Northern Cape for obvious reasons. What are those obvious reasons? The Western Cape, the coastline in the Eastern Cape, they've got some of the best wind speeds.
These are independent power producers that is believed will now be able to make use of a newly launched one-stop shop that will speed up transmission processes.
What it does is to put in place a dedicated institutional capacity to actively facilitate. So both human resources as well as an online platform for projects to register and to have their applications tracked. And so it will help to really accelerate that process. As new projects come on stream, developers will now be able to approach the one-stop shop directly, provide all of their information on that online platform that was launched on Thursday, instead of going to 12 or 14 different departments to lodge applications one by one and then have to manage and follow up on that process themselves. So at the moment, it is more than 100 projects being facilitated. We expect that number to increase.
On Friday, NERSA announced the approval of an operating license for the National Transmission Company of South Africa. Eskom believes that this is a crucial step in the power utilities unbundling process.
Some of the key reasons for the unbundling. One of them was around the transparency of the 3 businesses, generation, transmission and distribution, because as we are currently vertically integrated, it's very difficult sometimes for investors, customers, stakeholders to understand the performance, the issues and the challenges we may be experiencing. So transparency in terms of performance is one of the reasons. Secondly, it relates to transparency, particularly in terms of costs, because all these businesses actually have different cost structures and cost drivers.
NERSA is yet to approve transmission, trading and import-export licenses. The ministry also announcing that progress has been made on repair work following the recent diesel spillage fire at Grootfontein Power Station, with the unit expected to be returned to service by the end of next week. The Electricity Ministry confident in projects underway to boost generation, the area of extensive focus on the plan now being on transmission. The minister also confident in the moves around the unbundling of Eskom following NERSA's approval of the operating license for an independent transmission company in the country. As all of these efforts around the Energy Action Plan continue, consumers have also been urged to continue using electricity sparingly. Katlego Legodi, SABC News, Pretoria.